How do you last in your calling to lead in church ministry? My name is Matt, and I've been a pastor for 30 years, and I love to encourage pastors, people who are on church staff, or maybe you're a volunteer who serves or leads in your church. But I've been asked by so many, Matt, how have you lasted for 30 years in your calling to be a pastor? When we live in a society where churches are closing and pastors are giving up, how have you done it? I want to tell you, I've been happily married for 30 years this year. We've raised 2 beautiful kids. I have friends and I have hobbies, and I feel like I'm healthier and more focused and more excited about church ministry than I've ever been before. And there's one secret word that has helped me last in my calling. It's helped me get through times of being uncomfortable or feeling weary, or even when things haven't given me the results that I wanted fast enough. There is one secret that helped me, and here it is. It's commitment. I've had to tell myself I am committed to this calling in my life by God. Commitment does something to change your thinking and your perception. When you say, I'm committed, it's like driving a stake in the ground, standing in place and saying, whatever comes at me, whatever I've got to go through, I ain't leaving. This is it. As one person told me, I'm burning the boats. I'm not going backwards. When you are committed, what happens to your mindset is, at least for me, if I am committed and this is my calling, then I'm going to have to do some things I wouldn't normally do. I'm going to have to think in a different way. I'm going to have to become more disciplined. I'm going to have to grow. And that kind of thinking helps us push through those walls or those times when we're stuck to say, what do I have to become? What do I have to start doing more of? What do I got to stop doing less of to fall into the calling God's called me to? I remember many times going from the different season of being a worship pastor, choir director, piano player behind the scenes, to being the campus pastor to launch a church in South Florida. Very excited about the future, honored and humbled at the opportunity, but I had to learn many new skills which were uncomfortable. They were unfamiliar. One of those was public speaking, which, as you know, is one of the greatest phobias of people, standing on a platform and speaking. I actually had a mild stuttering, stammering problem that I could mask and cover up because I was directing the choir or singing or playing the piano behind the scenes. And here I'm having to be at a great church where we're very focused and intentional about economy of words and being concise and being clear and good. And I'm having to script this out and work. And what I learned about being uncomfortable is I said, because I'm committed, I'm going to have to grow at this. Being committed to it says, I'm willing to look stupid, ask dumb questions. I'm willing to learn a new skill. And when you learn a new skill, most of the time we don't go through the process long enough to actually start to get good at it. So we want to give up. We start questioning our calling. And I remember having to script out and record myself on videos, get feedback and practice. And when you do something new the first few times, you're awful at it. You're going to fail. You're going to flub. You're going to be average. And when you're committed, you say, I'll go through this long enough until I get decent at it. Another area that we get stuck in our calling is when we're weary. Don't question your calling in weary times. You can be tired. That's one thing. That's having a long Sunday or maybe like a Christmas services and all the setup and tear down, or you could have a summer camp if you're a youth pastor and you're tired. But when you're tired, that's different than weary. Weariness comes because you're having to do a lot of things that aren't exciting. They're mundane, they're frustrating, it's people, it's the politics, it's process, something that is not what you would say is your calling, you're having to do in order to be in your calling. For me, that was a lot of processes and systems and details, administration, that I was more into it for the people and the vision and the initiative and innovation, creativity, but I had to do the management and minutia of ministry. And I had to work through saying, because I'm committed, I'll learn the management. I'll learn the system. I'll go through the mundane so I can do the miracle. And then the last area, I think that was the hardest for me, is sometimes in my calling, I didn't see the fruit. I wasn't always seeing the results I wanted. I wanted bigger and better and farther, and sometimes it was going backwards or it was stuck. And you start questioning your calling, saying, am I effective here? Is this working? Should I go somewhere else? And many times in your calling, you have to be committed long enough to say, I'll go through a refining season or an evaluation season or a learning season, that if I can't make it bigger, I'm going to work on making it better. Many times we have to discipline ourselves. When I wasn't getting results, instead of pointing the finger at him or her or this or that, or even pointing the finger at my calling, I had to say, do I need to get better in this area? Do I need to get physically healthy so I can give more? Do I need to learn a skill? It's all about self-improvement and self-evaluation, self-awareness, to say my calling is the same. And God didn't make a mistake by having me here. And rather than just give up, I'm going to improve so the ministry can improve. Commitment is a powerful, willful decision that you have to make and go back to all the time. I remember many Sundays in the morning, either I was uncomfortable or weary or not seeing the results I wanted, or all three, that I had to say, Lord, you put me here. I'm committed to it. Until you say move, I'm not moving. Until you say change, I'm not quitting. And that made me stay in the game long enough to where I started to see growth and discipline and life and results the way I wanted. Stay encouraged. Don't give up. Stay committed. Keep growing forward, and you're going to see God help you to last and thrive in your ministry calling, because you and I are called to build His church, to bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. God bless you.